What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. Today's video, we're going to give you our Week 2 power rankings for the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Trash Talkers, before we get into today's YouTube video, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below if you agree with our power rankings, which teams you think we should have higher, which teams you think we should have lower. Let us know in the comments down below, and always remember to hit that like button, smack that subscribe button. Now let's get into today's video. All right, Nick, with week 1 of the NFL firmly in the books, we turn to the power rankings that we currently have from week 1, and we're going to revisit this and kind of make some adjustments as we see fit. Take a look at the teams that outperformed where they were last week and the teams that kind of fell, the Packers, the Titans. You know which teams we're talking about. We're going to see them and kind of figure out where the landscape of the NFL currently stands. So let's start off by taking a look at teams 32 and 31.
Yeah, so right now we have the Lions still at 32, but at 31, we have the Jaguars dropping down here. And after that poor performance, it's justified. Trevor Lawrence had an abysmal first game as the new starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the only way they can make their way up on the power rankings is if Trevor Lawrence can get his interceptions under control.
Yeah, I mean, we had them higher up based on what we expected to happen, but honestly, they look like the team that just picked first overall last year. So this makes more sense for them to be this low on the power rankings. They have a long way to climb, but let's take a look at the next 10. All right, taking a look at the next 10, we start off with number 30. We have the Atlanta Falcons at number 29, the Houston Texans at number 28, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 27, the New York Jets, at number 26, the New York Giants, at number 25, the Chicago Bears, at number 24, the Las Vegas Raiders. At number 23, we have the Denver Broncos. At number 22, the Cincinnati Bengals. And at number 21, the Minnesota Vikings. Nick, which is the biggest standout team in this 10 that you didn't expect or really kind of blows your mind?
I mean, you guys see it on the screen right now. The Bengals have moved up 5 spots from last week. The Cincinnati Bengals winning in overtime against the Minnesota Vikings, who were at full strength in week 1. Unbelievable to see how well the Bengals performed. Joe Burrow seems to be out of that preseason slump, as well as Jamar Chase, who can somehow see the ball after saying a few days ago he can't. Unbelievable the output that they were able to put together against a very strong Minnesota Vikings defense. They are for real. Their defense is more legit than I thought they were. They were able to put it together against a very strong Minnesota Vikings offense. Absolutely impressive what they were able to do, and I'm going to expect big things from them moving forward.
Yeah, this is not the Bungles of old, but one team that you can always count on to let you down, the New York Jets. And that's right, the New York Jets continue to wallow in their own pain and misery, and it does come at a cost as they lose multiple players to key injuries, losing Mekhi Becton, their starting left tackle, the stalwart that he is, to a dislocated kneecap. Obviously, not a season ending injury, but it is going to keep him out for quite some time. This opens up that offensive line, which was already porous to begin with, to be susceptible to even more pass rush, even more pressure on rookie quarterback Zach Wilson. And on top of that, LaMarcus Joyner going down for the season. Another key injury on the defensive side of this ball. The only free agent that they brought in on the defensive side of the ball to not get injured, Sheldon Rankins. So he better count his lucky stars, start saying some prayers, because it seems like he might be up next. But overall, the New York Jets, they just look sluggish. They did not look to perform really well against the Carolina Panthers. They made it a competitive game late, but That's all because Zach Wilson trusts his entire life in Corey Davis's hands, apparently. Corey Davis is the security blanket that Zach Wilson is looking for. And outside of him, you looked at Denzel Mims. He didn't do much of anything. This rushing attack was so porous, it had no chance to get started. There's a lot of issues here. And the fact that Zach Wilson got sacked 6 times is just absolutely abysmal. I think that this New York Jets team has a lot to fix, and it's not going to be a pretty season. I think that the New York Jets have a lot to get done to improve, and right now it's not looking too pretty. All right, for the next 10, we start off with the San Francisco 49ers at number 20, the Tennessee Titans dropping 10 spots to number 19, the Carolina Panthers staying put at 18, the Pittsburgh Steelers moving up 4 spots to be at number 17, the Indianapolis Colts dropping to 16, the Washington football team slightly dropping to number 15, the New Orleans Saints moving up 5 spots to go up to 14. The Dallas Cowboys moving up to get to 13. The Chargers staying put at 12. And the Packers moving out of the top 10 to number 11. Nick, which team is most surprising or the biggest impact for you?
I think we have to talk about the elephant in the room, that being the Tennessee Titans dropping 10 spots, having an abysmal performance against the Arizona Cardinals, where you saw Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, all these big name players do nothing. They were terrible. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and they did nothing with it. The Arizona Cardinals defense absolutely smacked them the entire time, and the Tennessee Titans had no response. This is scary. This is something that we never expected, especially when Derrick Henry is the lead guy in that offense. He could not get going. Ryan Tannehill could not get this passing attack going with the big weapons he has. The Arizona Cardinals, they were very impressive, but it's very scary to see the Tennessee Titans playing at this level. I want to see them improve mightily. I think they have it in them. I know it's week 1, but they are looking very scary, and I'm just not sure what is up next for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans, they obviously did not perform well, and I think the Packers are right there with them. These are two teams that we expected a lot out of and got absolutely nothing from them in week 1. Hopefully, they can bounce back, but I want to talk about some of the positive here, and I was all set to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, and you saw what they performed on Thursday night against the reigning Super Bowl champion Buccaneers, but I have to go with the more impressive team, the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston was on an absolute streak that he's never seen before. 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And I'm going to focus on those 0 interceptions more than the touchdowns because the biggest question mark surrounding Jameis Winston in his career has always been, can he stop with the turnovers? Can he stop giving the defense more opportunities? It seems like under Sean Payton, he has learned how to protect the ball, how to be more efficient as a passer. And honestly, the yardage wasn't there, but he was so efficient that it didn't need to be. This defense held the Packers at bay while the offense was able to click and really get things going. Jameis Winston found guys that you've never heard before because they don't really have those guys anymore. Outside of Alvin Kamara, he was focusing on names like Juwan Johnson and Marquez Callaway, guys that we don't really know about. So I think this was an opportunity for the Saints to put themselves on a map, and they did just that.
All right, everything you've been waiting for, the top 10, and we kick it off with the New England Patriots returning at the number 10 position. Look, they may have lost the game this week, but they did look pretty good. All right, Mac Jones in his first start had a fantastic output compared to the rest of the rookie class. Mac Jones showed a lot of promise. This offense looks a lot better than it did last year under Cam Newton, and the defense looks rejuvenated with Matthew Judon and Donta Hightower locking it down in the middle of the field. I want to see the secondary for the New England Patriots improve. They held them back this week. Devonta Parker and Jalen Waddle kind of had their way with them, but I think this is something Bill Belichick is going to work on. And then it's the fumbles with the running backs. 2 fumbles by Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. These got to stop. It was a big issue for every team this week, but most importantly for the Patriots because it cost them in the end. I want to see them improve if they're going to continue to stay in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins played one heck of a game, and that's why we find them at number 9 on this list, moving into the top 10 where they were previously number 11. The Miami Dolphins looked really good. Tua Tagovailoa looked like he is a seasoned guy. I mean, he just seems like a different quarterback than was out there last year. Maybe he got a fire lit under him from all the times that Ryan Fitzpatrick replaced him last year, but he looked good out there. He looked efficient, and the only question mark I have on this team is the offensive line because I know every aspect of their defense is solid through and through. On the offensive side of the ball, they have Devontae Parker, they have Jalen Waddle, but now they add Will Fuller to the mix. They have a three-headed monster at the receiver position. I understand that Mike Gesicki didn't get involved in the offense, and Bill Belichick, he takes away your best player. Well, he took away Mike Gesicki, and the Dolphins had to be without him. At this point, Mike Gesicki is going to work his way into this offense, and then the constant rotation at the running back position between Salvin Ahmed, Miles Gaskin, Malcolm Brown. These guys were able to really just work themselves in, stay healthy, stay in shape and ready to go for whenever their number was called. I think that the Miami Dolphins really did a great job here.
They did a great job, and so did the Seattle Seahawks coming in at number 8. The Seattle Seahawks going into Indianapolis facing Carson Wentz in his first game as an Indianapolis Colts quarterback, and they absolutely torched him. The Seattle Seahawks offense put up massive plays. Tyler Lockett, 2 massive touchdowns. DK Metcalf coming into the picture in the second half of the game. They were running on all cylinders on offense. Russell Wilson looked just as good as he always does, and on the defensive side of the ball, they impressed me tremendously. I thought with the losses in the secondary and the losses up front, they would be struggling in the run and pass game, but they looked as strong as ever. And I think that just goes to show you how good Pete Carroll is at his job as a head coach. He knows how to get these guys to play up to a certain expectation. Doesn't matter if there's no big name at the position, they're going to be coached up to that same level and expected to perform at the player that they are replacing, and they did just that. This is something that we got to continue to watch out for. I did not see this coming. I think the Seattle Seahawks are a team that can surprise a lot of us, as they are going to continue to be atop the NFC for a very long time.
Another team that seemed to surprise us in week 1, and not in a good way, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills find themselves at number 7, and that's coming off of a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are no joke, and they are a really good team. But the Buffalo Bills are a much better team. What they have on the defensive side of the ball is nothing short of spectacular. They have no excuses whatsoever. On the offensive side of the ball, Josh Allen struggled all day to move the ball. You saw that Stephon Diggs had a lot of targets, but not a lot of yardage. They were able to keep him in check. They held everything underneath and just allowed him to get stopped before he got going. And on top of that, the rushing attack never got going. Zach Moss obviously inactive for this game, but Devin Singletary could not handle the load by himself. I expect a lot more from the Buffalo Bills. That's why they're still in the top 10, but they take a mighty fall from where they previously were at number 3.
They take a mighty fall, and so does our number 6 team, the Baltimore Ravens, dropping a couple spots. Look, the offensive attack was a little lacking. They took a while to get going. Lamar Jackson's passing ability doesn't seem that it improved as great as I wanted it to. I know he's missing a lot of his weapons on the passing game, but that's no excuse. He still has some weapons. Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, and Sammy Watkins that he can work with. I think that there is no excuse that he cannot improve as a passing quarterback. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we saw some studs, especially rookie Odafe Owe getting massive sacks on the Las Vegas Raiders. Did a great job. But the secondary, it's a bunch of no names now with Marcus Peters gone. Marlon Humphreys is the guy to hold it down. I want to see these safeties improve. The defense, they're looking strong. I think that they have a little bit more to do, but they are looking pretty good so far.
Speaking of Marcus Peters, his old team, the Los Angeles Rams, really put on a clinic when it came to Sunday Night Football. They were great in every aspect, defensively, offensively, special teams. They were firing on all cylinders, and it all started with the new man under center, Matthew Stafford, leading the helm of this offense, really taking the offense by storm. And I think that he was able to really get this offense to a much more dynamic, much more down the field approach that Sean McVay has been looking to add. Now with Jared Goff gone, he can finally do just that. And at this point, we saw Deshaun Jackson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee all get involved in this offense. Darrell Henderson looked great out there as their lead back, and it seems like Sean McVay found his guy to replace Cam Akers. I believe that the Los Angeles Rams are really good. The problem is they faced the Bears, so I'm not sure what we were able to learn too much. I think that's why they're going to stay at number 5. Let's see them against the top 5 competition. That's the only way I see them moving up.
They may not have faced top 5 competition, but our number 4 team, the Cleveland Browns, faced the number 1 team in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, and although they did not win, they came very, very close, and they led for the majority of the day. The Cleveland Browns took advantage of the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs early, scoring 2 massive rushing touchdowns. The passing attack, Baker Mayfield, he still has work to do. This is something that needs to improve. Way too many weapons in the passing game for him to be performing the way he has. I want to see him get better there. The Cleveland Browns defense, this is a great story to watch. They have completely overhauled this position, and you see just how it, and you can see the improvements right away. Jadeveon Clowney looks rejuvenated in this defense. He looks like he can be a great offset on the other side to Myles Garrett, and the secondary looks very strong. They can work through these issues. It's only week 1. I know if they face the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, it's going to be a different story for Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes is going to have a lot more pressure on him. So I think that the Cleveland Browns looked great against the number 1 team in the AFC, and they are going to improve upon this.
Yeah, another team that looked great was the Arizona Cardinals, and we talked a little bit about what they were able to do on the field, but Chandler Jones had 5 sacks, and on top of that, Kyler Murray looked like he could possibly be MVP already. Taking a look at his stat line, he was able to divert the football in so many different ways that the Tennessee Titans didn't know where it was coming next. DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk, all these guys were getting implemented into the game. On top of the fact that you saw Chase Edmonds and James Conner getting into the mix and really working this line, I saw a lot of improvements on both sides of the ball. And my question was the back end of this defense with the loss of Malcolm Butler. Where was this team going to go? And it seemed like they put all of that to bed, shutting down A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. It doesn't get much better than that. That's why they find themselves up 5 spots at number 3.
At number 2, we have the team in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. They have not moved. They are still reigning atop the AFC as they came back late against the Cleveland Browns, who were spectacular. And what we saw from the Kansas City Chiefs is they can score at will, just like they have been for the last few years. They are still as dynamite as they have been. They are still the biggest threat to every other team in the conference. There is no team that I think can get past them right now, and they still sit atop the conference.
And sitting at number 1, you know who it is. It's the reigning Super Bowl champions, the guys who were able to squeak out a last-second victory against the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night, the opening kickoff game. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady himself. Listen, if there's anybody else that has a mastery of their craft more than Tom Brady, I don't know if I want to meet that human, because at the end of the day, it is so cerebral what this guy can do on the football field. Just absolute lasers to Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. These guys were absolutely phenomenal, all of them. And at the end of the day, the Buccaneers just look like they are picking up where they left off. Their same old dominant selves. The pass rush looked incredible. Their run-stopping ability, phenomenal. The back end of this defense, it did suffer some injuries, but it didn't stop them against the 3-headed monster of Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper, with Dak Prescott throwing for over 400 yards, but not being able to score points at a clip that would allow them to win the game. I think that this defense is built to bend but not break, kind of like the old Patriots defenses, and that's perfectly fine as long as they don't break, and I haven't seen them do that thus far. That's why they still find themselves as the number 1 team in our power rankings. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.